Hi there, good morning to you, and thank you for joining with me. I suppose for many people today, the Bible is old hat. What does it have to teach us? And yet, the words there, to me, still resonate. And the stories, there's always something about the stories. I just love stories. One of my very favourites has to do with a fellow called Naaman, who the Bible tells us was captain of the Syrian guard, and he was a big man in his community, and I'm sure one thing he just loved to do was after the battles to come home, and there he was with his robes, and everybody shouted, everybody loved him. But behind those robes there was a secret, because Naaman was a leper. He had leprosy. In these days, lepers became outcast, were put out of the village or the town. They had to live at a distance because it was a contagious disease. However, for Naaman, there was a wee lassie that worked for him, and she was a little slave girl. And she said to her mistress, "I hear that my master is ill." Now, I'm sure immediately she was dismissed, but she was determined to say something to Naaman's wife. And eventually she did say, "Please, I know somebody who can probably cure your husband." And so in due course, the old Naaman went off with all his retinue, with piles of gold, and to go and see this fellow called Elisha. And when he went to the door of the supposed doctor who was going to cure him, he knocked at the door, and actually Elisha sent out a servant and said, "Oh, listen, we know all about you. See that river down there? Go and have a dip in it 7 times and you'll be cured." You can well imagine Naaman's reaction. He was enraged. You know, he's an important man. And instead, this fellow sends a servant. It's like going to the doctor and you don't get to see the doctor. Indeed, the receptionist hands you a prescription. You know, I want to tell the doctor what the problem is. And he wanted to tell his doctor what the problem was. And so he was enraged, and he goes off, he's muttering. But eventually his friends got to him and said, "What was said? Up to dip in that river for 7 times. Eventually they persuade him, and down he goes 7 times. And when he comes up, he's cleared. It's a great story. And in some ways it says to me, the prescription for good living is actually in the Bible. But perhaps we want to go about it our own way. And yet the words of truth, the words of life are there. But the other thing that comes home to me, the old Naaman went off to see this fellow with these pots of gold and everything else. And for me, that says there are some things in life that you just can't buy. Naaman thought he could buy a cure. Yeah, but sometimes there are things that money can't buy. Like love, relationships, and Naaman was to learn that, and so should we. What are really the important things in life? What are the things that really matter to you? And you and I know that money doesn't buy them. Again, thank you for listening to me. I hope you'll remember this story, one of my favourites, of Naaman the leper. God bless you this week and always.